Hello there friends, nice to see you again. In this video I'm going to explain all you need to know about tactics. So, if we go to our skills here, you can see that on the third tab there's our tactics. And so far, for our level 110s, we have 6 tactics to choose from. These last two haven't been unlocked yet because we currently haven't reached 120 yet. But these seem pretty interesting. But I'll mainly focus on these 6. I'll talk about how to use tactics, how to apply them, and I'll also talk about these stats, these extra stats that we get from these tactics. Okay, so the first thing you have to know is there are 3 tactics that are PvE and 3 tactics that are PvP. So I'll talk about balance first. So if we click on any one of these points here, like this one for example, if I click here, if I press here, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different effects for depending on the position of where you place someone. So for example, if you're placed in position 1, then you'll get some more additional effects. Usually for the most part, position 1 gives the most effects, the highest effects. Then position 2 gives a little less. Position 3 is the same as position 2. And position 4 can also vary, but in this case for balance is PvE only. Monsters means PvE. For balance here, position 4 is the same as 2 and 3. So if your balanced level, if the level of that tactic is level 1, then you'll get these stats here for position 1, position 2, 3, 4. So this here is just an overview of the levels for the tactics. Then if your balance is level 2, which is what I have currently on this account here, then these effects will be a little higher than level 1. See there's a small difference here. See, level 2 is a little higher. And then level 3 is even higher. 4 and the max level tactic you can get is level 5. Level 5 here, which has the most effects. So now I'll talk about Raging Seas. Raging Seas is a PvP only. It gives effects for PvP events in a 4-member team. Or it has to be a 4-member team, but there doesn't have to be 4 members in there. So if we click on one of these here, you can see the effects preview. These are actually the exact same effects as balanced. The only difference is that characters means players, like actual real players, like in PvP, which is different from monsters. So these effects are actually the exact same percentages for each respective level as balanced. The only difference is that this is PvP and balance is PvE. As for durability, here this varies a little because if we click on one of these, you can see the effects preview. So it starts off exactly the same as balanced, but you can notice, you can see here that in position 4, instead of having increased damage against monsters and increased damage reduction against monsters, we have this healing effect. This healing effect here, which is perfect for healers. I personally would, durability is always my go-to when I'm dealing with PvE in a 4-member team because of this healing effect. And generally you should always have a healer on the team. A healer is very important. It's the most important part of a team. So this healing effect will help a lot for healers. It'll increase the amount of heals that the healer can give and receive. There's also this damage reduction as well, which is good too. And you can see here, depending on the level of the tactic, the healing effect will increase. So for level 1 it's 5%, level 2 it's 6.2, and it increases increases the more you level up this tactic. As for support, this one is PvP. It's the analog of durability. So it's essentially the exact same thing as durability, except it applies for characters in a PvP setting instead of a PvE setting. So all these percentages, including the healing effect, is exactly the same. Next one, I'll go to destruction. So if I click on one of these, you can see that in this case, there's no damage reduction against monsters. So this destruction is specifically for PvE. PvE only. It only works in PvE. Or it's only meant to be used in PvE. So you can see that there's only damage increase against monsters here. There's no damage reduction. So this one is a little more riskier. It's not recommended to use in like Spec Ops, for example, or if you're a lower level, you're not one of the top ranked players. This isn't recommended to use if you're low or mid level, or if you have if you're not as experienced, this isn't really the go-to, because there's no damage reduction here. And sometimes that bit of damage reduction is enough to save all of you. But there is a lot of damage increase here, which is good for those quick Spec Ops, like a daily Spec Ops, for example. Instead of a weekly Spec Ops, then this is great to use for daily Spec Ops, just to get it done quick, and without the worry of dying. As for this one here, as for Ripper, this is the analog of destruction, where this is only PvP. So if we click on one of these are the exact same thing as destruction. These effects are identical to destruction. The only difference is that this is against characters, which is players. This one is quite risky to use. I generally never use this one because you want to stay alive. In a PvP setting, it's always important to stay alive. And if you don't have that damage reduction against players, then it's going to be much harder to stay alive. I personally wouldn't really use this one often. My go-to for PvP is actually support. I love using support, because you should always have a healer on a team, and the healing effect is amazing when you're essentially in any setting. It's really useful. But yeah, these effects are the exact same thing as destruction. Ripper is the exact same thing as destruction, except Ripper is in PvP setting and destruction is in PvE setting. Okay, so now that I've discussed all the tactics so far that we have currently, now I can talk about these little bubbles that we see here. And you can actually see that it's kind of shaped like the symbol that you see here. Like for example, for Ripper, you can see it's a lightning bolt. You can see it's kind of shaped like a lightning bolt there. That's what's really creative that I've noticed. He balances some swords, and it's kind of shaped like some swords. So they each have their unique appearance, which doesn't really matter too much, but it's more just for the aesthetic of how it appears. It's just for aesthetic. So if you go to any one of these plus signs, you can see that we have a stat here to increase. And there's a whole bunch of stats that you're able to increase here for any one of these tactics. So the thing about these stats is, if you upgrade any one of these stats, they're applied to your character permanently. So there's no need to switch between tactics to change the stat, because the stat is applied permanently. Your rating won't change if you switch between tactics. So for example, let's say I wanted to upgrade, let's see what's a good one to upgrade here that I need. Like for example, this damage, or how about let's do one of these damages, +6, I saw one, +6 here. Yeah, there we go, this one. So whenever you want to learn one of these stats here, this requires 40 of these tactic samples and 7 of these tactic records for level 2 that I'm currently level 2. If it's level 1, it'll actually require less. I believe it's 20 tactic samples and I think two tactic records. or something like that. So I'll talk about these tactic samples first. So these are actually quite difficult to get because the only possible way to get them as a free-to-play is through your dailies, and you can only do your dailies once. You can't get multiple rewards for dailies. So these tactic samples are very limited, and I believe you can only get 25 tactic samples per day max as a free-to-play. There might be other ways to get more, but that's like the cutoff. 25. So you can see that it's very limited, and as you increase the level of your tactic, it'll become very difficult to learn all of these skills. So you want to make sure to choose your skills efficiently. Like for example, I love armor piercing. Armor piercing is great. Damage is great to increase. I've learned these torso armor piercing, torso armor. The armor ones are really good. I've learned those. Skill strength, I always learn the skill strength ones first. Damage resistance is one I always learn first. Skill strength. Weakness damage is good too. Armor is great. Let's see what else. Yeah, armor, that's what I got. Yeah, so it's really your choice to how you want to level up these stats. I personally level them up according to how I play, which is a lot of skill strength and armor piercing and armor. I love those stats. Okay, so let's say I wanted to upgrade the damage plus 6. You can see here that this requires 40 tactic samples and 7 tactic records. So currently I have enough of these tactic samples, but I don't have enough of these tactic records. So like I mentioned, the only way to get tactic samples is through dailies. Tactic records, on the other hand, these can actually be purchased on the trading post. So I need five of these tactic samples left to upgrade one of these stats. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase 5 of these right now so I can upgrade one of these stats. Let's see, and I will upgrade one of the plus 6 damage that I want. Let me look for the plus 6 damage. Oh, like this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and learn this one, and once I press confirm, you'll notice that my rating will go up, which is showing that these stats are applied permanently to my character. So now, regardless of which one I choose, the rating will always stay the same, regardless of what tactic you use. So now I'm going to talk about this default setting. So all this is nice, these stats are nice, but now if you want to actually put these tactics into action, you would have to set them to default and then release them, or they can be released automatically, depending on if you all go into a spec ops or something. So let's say I want to set this destruction to default. I set this destruction to default, and I'm able to release it. So currently I only have 2 people on this team, which is me and my main account. I say hi to my main account here. So whenever there's less than 4 people in a team, the tactics won't be applied automatically. You'll have to manually use them. There's actually another way to release and apply these tactics, and it's by going to here, the flag here. If you go to the flag, and down here where it says tactic, you can press tactic and do the same thing. This also releases on the go. Immediately. It's an immediate effect. So let's say I want to use destruction. The first person here would get the highest one, the highest damage increase, and then the next 3 positions. So here, this position 1, this position 2, this is position 3, and this position 4. So position 4 is useful for the healing increase, or yeah, this healing increase. And position 1 is useful to have the highest damage increase, or the highest and the highest damage resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and use this tactic, and you can see that it'll be applied on effect right now. So now I have all damage increased against enemies right now at this moment. If someone were to leave this instance here, that tactic would be nullified. It'll be nullified, and it won't be in effect anymore. Everyone in the team has to be at the same location and in the same instance in order for these effects to be applied. And notice how there's a cooldown for releasing these tactics. So you really want to be careful which tactic to use, because you won't be able to use it again for another, I believe it was like 100 seconds. So you want to be wary of that. So there's also another thing that's strange about tactics is whenever you go to your tactics, the way you see it here, once you first click tactics, that's the way it is. The way you see here. Occasionally, whenever you flip between these, the people here will change. But the most important layout that you need is the one where you just press it. So for example, let's say I'm actually gonna wait here until this tactic cools down, until the cooldown's over. I'll wait there. So remember how there's two ways to release the tactics. Through the third tab on the skills here, where you press release, you can also release it through here. But see how it's still on a cooldown. Or you can go to the team list. It does the same thing. See, either one. So let's say I wanted let's say I wanted this account to get the healing effect. To do that, I would have to go to durability or support, depending on which one you want, on which scenario you have. And I want to move myself here to position number 4, like that. So I moved myself to position 4 here, and now once I press use tactic, I'll have the healing increase. So in case I'm a healer, this will be very beneficial for me as a healer. So if I use tactic, and it doesn't matter if it's lower. Honestly, the rating doesn't matter too much. In terms of these tactics, the rating doesn't really matter too much. What matters more is which position you have and which tactic you use. Not really so much the rating. So yeah, I'm gonna confirm. And notice here, I get the healing effect. So now perfect as a healer, I'm able to heal more. I'm able to heal more with this healing effect. So one other thing to point out is whenever I have less than 4 members in a team, the effect, each one of these effects are reduced by a certain amount. So if there's only 1 person, then it's reduced by 75%. If there's 2 people, then it's reduced by 50%. If there's 3 people, then it's reduced by 25%. And if there's 4 people in one team, then the effects are 100%. 100%. So, but keep in mind that the tactic won't be used automatically if you have less than 4 people. So it's always a good idea to have exactly 4 people in a team, so that these tactics are used automatically. The default tactic, and the default tactic with the highest rating will always be applied first. And that's also something to be careful about, because let's say that the default tactic was support in a PvE setting, or let's say the default tactic was durability in a PvP setting. That wouldn't be very helpful, because durability is a PvE tactic. That wouldn't be very beneficial, because durability is a PvE tactic, and if we're in a PvP setting, we'll want to use a PvP tactic like support. So if that's the case, then it'll have to be used. It'll have to be used on effect here manually. It'll have to be used manually. So if the default tactic is durability and you're in a PvP setting, you want to manually switch it, either by the team here, the team tactic here, or you can also take the longer routes and go to release, which does, it does the same thing. So if we're in a PvP setting, we want to release this one and apply it. Okay, and another thing about tactics is, let's say you want to upgrade the level of the tactics. So currently support here, let's say I have here support, this level 2. In order to increase the level of this tactic, I first want to learn each one of these stats, all 10 of them that you see here, all 10 stats that are currently on here. Once you learn them, you're able to use these battle tactics text, and in this case I need 50 of them in order to upgrade this support level 2 to level 3. So the thing about these battle tactics text is that you can only get them, you can only get 2 of them per day through your dailies. Oh, and also, by the way, you can also get two tactic records per day from your dailies. From your dailies, you can only get 2 per day, and the same thing with the battle tactics text. However, you can purchase the tactic records on the trading post, which is useful. These are limited, like I mentioned. These are also limited, and you can't purchase these on the trading post, but you can purchase them in the gold store using gold. Each one here costs 2k gold. So if you go to the gold store, you can also go through here, go to the store, gold here, and we can scroll down to battle tactics text. You can see here that each one is 2k. So it is quite expensive, especially if you need 50 of them. This is quite expensive. It's quite expensive. So currently I'm not able to purchase all of them, and also I still haven't learned all of the skills in the set here, so I'm not able to upgrade right now. But if I were to learn all 10 of these bubble stats here and have 50 battle tactics text, then I would be able to upgrade support from level 2 to level 3. And also there's this character level requirement as well. Okay, well, I believe that is all you need to know about the tactics. These will be coming soon, but it looks like these are it looks like these are more centered towards increased damage reduction against characters and monsters as well, which we'll be seeing soon. Okay, well, I believe that is all you need to know about the tactics. I'm glad you learned something from this, and I was able to help you out. And if you have any recommendations on other videos for me to make, feel free to leave me a comment. You can find me in game, catch me in game, send me a message or anything. I'm always happy to respond. I'm very, very friendly towards people. Well, I'll catch you in the next video, and I hope to see you all soon. So, bye.